Uh, all right, so everybody's kind of had a look at the document. Let me just tell you what I'm doing. Most of the council members, hopefully all the council members, have given us comments on the zoning ordinance over the last 4 or 5 months, and every time someone sees an article or something about zoning, they're sending it. So what I'm going to do is put together you a kind of a reading list for next week. It's going to be pretty hefty. I mean, this is just maybe half of it, but that way you can kind of get the ideas and feelings of kind of where the council is coming from. Please, this is not going to be anything you want to publish. In fact, I'm going to give you that with all the comments. You probably won't even know who wrote the comments. And it's just to give us all some head knowledge, because you're going to read it, you have comments saying, well, yeah, that was something I missed, or yeah, they didn't consider this. And so I think it'd be pretty good to kind of get us all up to speed. So tonight, let's talk about where we want to start. Looking at the zoning ordinance, what I see is, I think one cornerstone that we've got to figure out is this whole mother track concept. I think it clouds some issues. It kind of indicates that maybe we're zoning ETJ property. So why don't we just open up for discussion about the mother track?
Well, I printed out a big.
All right.
I mean, I know we have that one, but I thought we kind of got color coordinated. Oh, okay.
I'll put it up there. Go ahead and keep talking and I'll.
Well, I had just printed that out just because I didn't know, like, and I bought that one and I have a legal size one just because, sometimes we got it here. Sometimes it's easier, even though it's smaller, then we've got something to look at a little closer.
And I've got a lot of copies of these. I can bring them and give them to you if y'all want.
Okay.
Something hang on the wall when you're looking at stuff. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, I know that we based the mother track when we were looking at that. So that's why I just went ahead and made sure I had those at least printed out. So if we all wanted to pass it around and look at it while we were sitting at the table, we could. Well, and it was also I guess, kind of how we were talking about that, how we also kind of needed, and I think it kind of falls with the mother track that you're talking about. Well, we were talking about the different, like the AR and the SF and the SF-E and B, because now all those kind of are really different.
Well, because currently the zoning is based off of the mother track.
Right.
So if you change,
we're gonna have to change
that, then you have to go in and then change your category.
Yes.
What are they calling them?
No, we talking about mother track. Are we talking about for each individual property? That's
Right.
a mother track.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of mother tracks.
Right.
Correct.
Yes. But because that's based off of the ETJ, and the town does not have jurisdiction over the ETJ, so how can you zone something based off of land that is not in the town? So if you take away utilizing the mother tract as a way to zone, then we have to go back and change all of the zoning districts. And so at that point, you decide, do you just do single family and business, and those are your only two zoning districts?
Single family business.
Yeah. But even for ag, that would be pretty limited because it's just based off of, and what are you defining as ag?
Ag, well, it's usually a base zoning that is always there, and a lot of times it applies to areas that are annexed. Ag is the base zoning, and then it's changed later
Just
on.
before we get off the mother track definition, now it can either be the land that a person owns that's in the town, or the land that's owns in the town plus ETJ, which is adjacent.
Correct.
And my understanding is it's just in the town itself since we can't do anything about the ETJ. Is
Right.
that,
But when this was
The-
done, they did it based off of the
The E.
entire. They did it based off of the ETJ and what's in the town. And
Pull up the
really, we can only
definition.
zone
The
what's
defi-
in the town.
well, that's my feeling too.
Yeah, and then also with the zoning districts, though, you also have to change your acreage requirements because so like when you were saying ag, because it's like, well, who actually owns 5 acres in the town that's actually all in the town limits?
Very few.
Nope.
Very few. Yeah, so that's why I was saying you kind of have to take some of that out. You're either kind of stuck with either single family or business because, and some people have even less of what's in the town, and then there are some that have greater portions that are in the town.
Yeah, Tom, if you read the definition of mother tract, read it. I mean,
contiguous
Yeah.
expanse of
it's
land.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I guess that's, we're talking about what do we need to fix or change?
Mm-hmm.
And see, when that was written, we didn't really know that we
Correct.
did no control over the ETJ.
Correct.
We found that out later.
Okay.
So now we know what we know,
Yeah, now we
Yeah.
know we
Where-
don't have much control over the ETJ.
any control.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, and so what Haley is saying is really along the lines of what I think too, is that, just to simplify the whole thing, it's either ag or SF.
No SF1, no SF1 half,
No,
no
because-
2.
Right.
Yeah.
And-
Well,
and-
that or business.
Yeah,
Just the option.
I agree. I think we've got 4 categories, and I think we just really need to modify it down. Kind of, we got SF-E, or we have SF. We just need a SF. Do away with the other one. Have your ag and your business. Have it to 3. It makes it very simple. You're going to have
But-
those 3 standards in any zoning for any town. So that puts us down to the basics. You have a business, single family, or ag.
But it
Yeah.
does bring up the question of, okay, so say somebody, their house does not actually touch the town limits. It's in the ETJ. Are you going to base that is it still going to be considered a single family residence, or do you consider that ag because it's only land that's maybe in the front? Like your house, for instance,
Yeah.
like the way yours is designed.
I mean,
It brings up the question of how are we going to classify each one of those?
Well, just to be clear, I mean, we're not, for voting, then if you have the contiguous and whether your house is in or out,
Mhm.
you can still vote, but we're talking about,
Yes, yeah.
about zoning.
Yes, yeah, we're just
Which
this
is
is
different.
just
just the zone, not,
just-
not if you can vote it for
Right.
elections.
Well,
We're just talking about just the zoning.
But I
part.
don't, a lot
Correct.
of people aren't clear. I mean,
Well,
the town-
I'm hoping with some of us like now having this, and we're gonna get this down to like the basics and where it's more understandable for everybody. I'm
Yeah.
hoping like once like let's say okay we all talk and we're like okay we would like to simplify it to the 3 categories.
right.
Of course, then it has to go with y'all to present that during a town hall for a vote.
But regardless, this is not this committee, this volunteer group, whatever you want to call us. We're not making
Advisory
any decisions
Yeah,
on
yeah.
anybody's zoning.
Other
Or, I
than
mean, nobody's voting. I'm sorry.
Other
yeah.
than recommendation.
Right,
Right,
other
we're
than
just
the
giving
recommendation, and I
recommendations
think
for zoning.
then when
strictly.
y'all, like if that's what I'm saying, is us as a committee, if we think this will make it simpler for everybody if we do it to 3,
And,
then y'all have to bring it up in a council meeting.
Right.
And I'm hoping then when y'all actually do that, so that it could be heard and further action could be taken, that it's explained at that point, since it's being brought up, that people then will understand.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
simplifying the zoning district names, and this only has to do with the zoning. It doesn't affect your voting at any time for elections. Just to make it like clearer, we simplified this, but it's going to make it easier for you to understand. But in no shape or form is it going to like affect you
Mhm.
as to where you can vote or how you vote.
Well,
None
see-
of that's going to change. It's all about just trying to make it crystal clear and just reassure them this isn't going to change.
Well, see,
anything.
and Dale and I have been wrestling with this for the months now of last year because, people come in and want some kind of have a zoning issue or question, and it's so difficult because you got to take measurements and do all this. And so kind of my feeling is exactly that. Is it not just simplify it for whoever on the council has got to review it, but people
Interpret
should
it.
be able to
Yeah.
get the zoning ordinance and understand it without having to consult a lawyer.
Yeah.
And right now, we've had to go to the lawyer and pay money because to get certain things defined, and now they've spent a lot of money. We've had people come to us after spending a lot of money on legal work or whatever, and then raise a question with us, and we have to. And then, to me, that's what all the purpose of this should be: is get it simple, so they don't have to go to lawyer. We don't have to go to lawyer. It's very clear for everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, that to me is an overriding.
Well, I agree
principle.
with just starting with the basic of we probably need to just get rid of the usage of Mother Track,
word.
period.
Yeah. And
Because we don't have any
Right.
right or to the
Well, and like you said,
ETJ.
when all that came about the first time, that's when they were including everything.
Mhm.
And so that's how that all came about. I totally agree. I think that causes confusion for people because, for one, unless you're like a big time like city person or like in big development and all that, that Mother Track thing means nothing. It just makes it sound even more complicated even before you do something.
correct.
So what do you foresee? Do you see every tract abutting a county road, a town road, being zoned? I mean, we would say 99.9% of the town zone SF.
Yes, there's
Aside
very
from-
few
Except,
ag.
Right here.
aside for a few businesses.
And then putting a minimum site size on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have some measurements that we could tweak.
I mean, yeah, well, yes, under those, and they would have to, that would be out the window because when we're looking at what's between town limits and the road, we're,
So I guess
We're
like in
below
that way,
acre.
I'm going to be considered just ag.
Or it depends on if we still include an ag option.
no,
or if we,
No,
you
you
still
wouldn't
zone
be.
vacant land
Mhm.
as to what it's intended to be used for, single family. So
Right, so
even
you
if
can-
it's vacant,
It's still SF.
It's
Or
still
you
SF.
you could go with just the two districts.
All right, let me say something, just to make sure y'all all understand. The whole Mother Track concept came out of the first zoning committee,
Hmm.
and it was my idea.
I remember.
Because at the time, we didn't know we had no authority over the ETJ.
Hmm.
I mean, so we did it mainly so we could try to get an idea of how much of each zoning group we would have. Then we got all kicked off, and then the second zoning committee, they just picked up and used that term. Understand that. But the idea was just simply for the committee to work at trying to see what the balance or the ratios would be. So understand that. But now that we know that we have no control over the ETJ, it just clouds everything.
the proper definition in zoning would be under Mother Track, and referring to Mother Track would be the portions of the Mother Track within the town limits.
Mhm.
And whether you use Mother or Parent Track, it still could be included and referred to, but not in the way it sounds that there's control
Yeah.
of contiguous, regardless of town limits. And
Well, what's going to end up happening, I think, as an example, if you wanted an ag tract, you would most of the right of way are 50 foot wide. Okay, so you take 25 feet off of 311, you get 286. If you take 286 feet of depth on your property is in the town. Okay, so in order to have under 2.5 acres of property in the town, you have to have 380.77 feet of frontage. If you want an estate zoning, something, let's say ag ag use, you would have to have 761.5 feet of frontage on the road in order to have 5 acres in the town. And I think you're gonna see we have very few of those,
Yeah.
if any. I think what we're gonna end up seeing, if we take away the whole mother tract thing, is, like you said, I think, you're gonna have single family and maybe single family estate, and maybe a few agrarian zone properties. Because it would only be,
I don't.
you'd have to have over 5 acres to be agrarian.
Now, will the town go out and start measuring those properties to determine?
We'll have to make that determination, yeah.
I mean, that's the only
But-
way you could.
Here's the thing is that this zoning ordinance states currently that there is a minimum requirement of 2.5 acres.
Wow.
And that's not possible.
And that's not possible. And
Well-
but you're asking that to be a mother tract, but then therefore you're trying to impose zoning ordinances on ETJ that the town doesn't
Well,
have a
but
right
once
to.
you drill down into the single family,
Mhm.
quite honestly, my interpretation, the way it reads, you can get, for single family, you can get down to 1 acre. Look at your chart. It's
Right.
1
Yeah.
acre.
What the chart says, but
I know. But I think we're going to have, I tend to think we're probably going to have something like single family 1, single family 2, or something like that.
I just don't know how we can require people to have minimum acreage in the town limits, period. I don't know how we can enforce that, especially when you start to discuss when they're building and what's the term I'm looking for? The side
Setbacks
setbacks. There we go.
and lot coverage setbacks
Yes. So
are
when you
very
start
hard.
to discuss the setbacks and the lot coverage,
Hmm.
how can we legally
Yeah.
require lot sizes?
you have to
Well,
somehow.
we're
but
having,
Yeah.
To
we're
limit
having
growth.
that problem right now.
I mean, well,
People there's a,
you want to have that because you want to curb the intention was to curb some development. So yes, that's the goal, is to be able to have that, but we're dealing with a spilled spaghetti town
mhm.
Right.
in size, so it's not your normal square or circle. So
Yeah.
we're kind of dealing with something different.
But an acre
Very
would
much so.
an acre would require 152 feet of frontage. You said 286 from
What-
the
286 feet.
yeah, so that's
Frontage.
152.
Yeah, an acre. Yeah, about
For the acre.
180. Yeah. The 2.5 is 380.
Yeah,
5 acres is 760.
which my neighbor would have that. I mean, they're one of the. They have over 50 acres. They have a lot of frontage.
Hmm.
So yeah, there are some.
Are you talking about the jacks? No.
Yeah, jacks. They would easily.
So they would be zoned ag.
Yeah.
Well, now, just in explaining it to people, what really nailed down this, that we really don't have any control in the ETJ, was Bishop Field.
Mhm.
Because that came up and we were searching for a way to control Bishop Field, and that's when we were told legally, we have no
We
way.
have no leg to
Even though
stand on.
they do have one strip for entrance coming into the town on County Road 2440. So it's a half acre, 3/4 acre, something. It's a small strip, which we were thinking, well, maybe that gave us some control, but the answer is no. So now we know what we didn't know then,
Right.
which is we don't have any control.
Mhm.
But Bishop Field brought it to a head.
Mhm. But we're
Well-
having people right now that have, I think we're looking at one right now that's like 5 acres, and they've already split it off and sold it, an
Mhm.
acre. A little over an acre or something. And they don't meet, they don't meet the frontage requirement, the 150 feet. We haven't seen a site plan, so we don't know as far as side setbacks and
What
front
county
line,
are they
front
in
rear
now?
setbacks.
What county are they in?
Hunt, isn't it?
Hunt, I believe.
Kaufman?
Oh, is it?
Well, and see, and
Kaufman.
that's where also it's always going to differ, because your two counties are not going to be the same code and requirements.
Well,
For as far as the
Yeah,
town goes,
well-
it should be.
now
Okay.
what Kaufman County has done is they've taken the portion that's in the town
Mm-hmm.
and giving it a different parcel number.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
Hunt County, now on their maps, they show the town line,
You see the shade.
but they haven't given it a parcel code or parcel number yet.
Okay.
So the two counties are different.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, talking to the assessor, they might be willing to put separate parcel numbers on the town portion, okay, because they have drawn the line. But I think that's something let's address it later,
Mhm.
much later.
Yeah.
In the process, till we get everything kind of figured out. I said, okay, now do we go back to Hunt County and have them do the same thing? It would be much nicer, easier too, if both counties had. And two, think of this, and not, throw the elephant in the room, but if a property tax is ever imposed, then you would want that,
Yeah, you would want it for both.
but for
At
both,
that point, Hunt would have to divide it. They wouldn't have a choice.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a forcer
But
for them.
because Kaufman did it, I think, you probably could sit down with them and say, hey, look, we straddle, we need to get on the same page. Okay, so mother track.
Mhm.
So at this point, are we saying we want to scratch the idea of a mother track?
I think we kind of have to because we can't base it off of
Because
what's
it's
in the-
meaningless.
Yeah.
It's meaningless.
So why even have it if it's the
Yeah.
term if it's meaningless?
All right, so do we agree that, raise the hands, or however way you want to vote, how we want to do this, mother track, that we remove it?
Well, yeah,
I
Agreed.
agree.
we agree to that, and then of course,
Everybody agrees to that?
By the way,
Unanimously.
Haley and I elected Dale as chairman of this committee.
oh,
Yeah.
Mainly because she didn't want it and I don't want it. so-
Yeah.
no, good with that.
Neither did I.
He seems to have
And
taken
Scott
over, huh?
Scott is going to be our research person. He was on the list of the people who volunteered, and of course we all decided a 5-person committee and 2 of us councilmen. So, but he wants to help us out. So what he's going to do is kind of sit in all of our meetings, and we're going to have some things we'll need to research. And Scott, can you look at that for us? And we'll do this. But anyway, that's why Scott's here, and that's how he's going to help us. So you've got it on to scratch that definition?
Yes.
Okay.
Track removed, unanimous vote.
And so I think maybe, just so we don't get confused, shouldn't we just have he'll control our red line addition.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll control that, and he'll just take that. We're not taking it out, but we'll have a color code. We'll say anything in red is, at least at this point in time, would be removed. So when you're reading in future meetings, the red or whatever color he comes up with, that it's on the chopping block, if you will.
So
Fair
that
enough?
that
Yes.
affects section 2.2 and also section 6. Because that definition is used in section 2.2 to describe the purpose of the zoning districts.
Yeah.
But then it's also in 15.2 on page 12.
Okay. So we're going to for the time being, get rid of the mother track idea. And Scott's going to keep copies. And he's going to do is, the way we'll know which version you have, look at the date
Mhm.
that he'll put at the bottom of the draft.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so every couple weeks or however long it takes him, and again, we're all volunteers.
Mhm.
We all have other things to do.
Mhm.
And so sometimes you'll have it the next day, sometimes you'll have it Tuesday before the next Thursday meeting. Fair enough?
Yeah.
And by
But
the way,
it just kind of keeps us.
there's one other thing we discussed that y'all didn't hear last week, and that's, next year, the election and all kind of things, and we may not be here after the election,
What, 2
which,
years?
which is, who knows? But in any case, we need to finish this up by the end of the year, our
definitely.
part, to turn it over and disband so that it's up to the council, because after the first of the year, it's going to be kind of difficult.
Political.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, where do we want to move next? We want to start looking at
Well, I feel like we kind of have to go to the zoning districts
district,
because
yeah.
to clear up that language because mother truck is used in there. Unfortunately, we can't just hit delete.
All right. So, I mean, my first comment is this agrarian. Let's just call it ag. Every town calls it ag.
Yeah, I totally agree because that, that throws people off. It just make it as simple. I mean, once
Right.
again, we're back to making it simple as can be. And ag is ag. It don't matter what city you go to, town you go to.
Everybody.
They're like when we talk about it in our our big town, our city, it's like, are they ag or single family or business? I mean,
Right.
that's the three, because we'll have people call and make a complaint on somebody and they're like, oh, I don't think they can have it out there. And then we're like, well, they're ag.
Yeah,
I mean, so those are just the three terms you always use is if it's, labeled that way. So I say take that off, make it AG, ag, and then if you want to leave the family/cattle land and larger residential property on there, that whatever, but
Yeah, the definition's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
just change the other.
All right. So, let's look at that. So if we call it ag, farmland and large residential properties greater than 5 acres, not equal or
No,
Great.
yeah, it should just be,
it would be, in other words, until we get down to the other ones, but that becomes real confusing. It's 2.5,
yeah,
2 less than 5. This is greater than 5. If that's greater than 5, then 2.5 to 5.
mm-hmm.
And then the other one would be 1 to 2.5, or if we kept those. See, we need a break. It's just plus
Yeah.
or minus thing.
5 are great.
It's
Well-
kind of confusing.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's the other issue that, right now, the 5 or 1 is net, not gross. And my feeling, it ought to be gross because just to
Correct.
make it simple. In other words, take in the easements and everything else.
Yeah,
If you
yeah, I
have
agree
an
with
acre, you have an acre
You have an acre.
that
It's
you're on your property deed.
Right.
And don't try to adjust
Right.
it for
It may be
easements.
encumbered by an easement, but you still, if you
Right.
have the surface rights,
But
it's 1 acre.
but in here, all these acreage refers to net.
Yeah, and that's wrong.
And and it just adds complication.
Yeah, because I think there's even an instance in there about drainage. Well, why are you netting out
Yeah,
drainage? To me, what is the first thing we do? We move out in the country when we have a creek running through it. We create a pond.
Well, and there's another one too. I mean, the way mine is approved and all, and is that in the survey is 5 acres is 5 acres. That's gross.
Gross.
Where the zoning would make
Yeah.
it less than 5
Yeah,
acres.
I agree.
So I like to stick with whatever, the
Do you know where that net
Yeah.
language is
Where
at?
is that
Yeah.
net?
it's. Which one, Halen?
Anywhere, any place they use net.
Well, net is defined, I think, under definitions, I believe.
Mm,
And under 15.2, if you come down to acre, an acre of land consists of 43,560 square feet as used in the regulations. Acreage is net, not gross. And I say strike that out and say acreage is area comprised in an acre of land and includes the occupied alleys and drainage. In other words, get rid of the words net or gross.
Yeah, get rid of net or acreage. Or should we say regulations?
But you have to put in the word or the includes areas to make absolutely clear. Acre of land includes areas occupied by streets, alleys, and drainage ways. And maybe there's something else.
Okay,
But-
so,
But that makes it very
Yeah.
clear, my 5 acres is exactly like the survey.
right, exactly, and that's, 'cause
Yeah.
that's what you bought.
Yeah.
That's what you own.
That's
So,
right.
do we all agree that we will rewrite the definition of acre?
Yes, it should be all inclusive.
Everybody?
Yes.
So
Yep.
rewrite. Okay, so going back to the chart. So do we agree to greater than 5 acres?
Yeah,
So
because
it's,
it's very seldom be absolutely equal.
yeah,
It's almost always slightly over.
yeah, because, we'll get into the other ones. So we agree that we're going to call it ag,
Mm-hmm.
and it's anything greater than 5 acres.
Now, by the way, and the reason there's ag is to keep from having land divided up into properties. I mean, I think that was, you were in on the original meetings, I wasn't.
Mhm.
And that was the idea.
That what about ag?
Why do we have ag? In other words, what is the
For
purpose?
that, most cities, again, normal towns with big squares, is to preserve that agricultural use. Because when you start a town, a normal town, most of your land is in ag. You just have a block or two in the town. So yeah, that's the idea, is to allow people to continue farming kind
Well,
of
so the way-
uninterrupted.
So the Jacks who live across from me, they've got 40 something acres.
Mm-hmm.
Over 50.
I'm sorry,
I think over 50.
450.
Over 50.
Oh yeah, but not all of it's in the
The
town.
mother track.
Yeah, but not all of it's in the
okay to
town.
talk
but
about it in this meeting.
they
not to
clearly
do-
Parent track.
have at least 5 acres inside the town. So
At least.
then that would mean they couldn't put multiple housing the way it's written now on that part that's in the town, 5 acres or
Well, no,
whatever.
they
it is.
could. I mean, normally the way towns work, again, which is our problem, we have no services. We offer nothing to anyone in the ETJ. Therefore, there's no motivation to ask to be incorporated in town. Normally, what you have in most towns is you have a town with services: sewer, water, fire, police. And then, okay, so I'm aging out. I'm going to chop up my land and sell it all and move to Florida. When you do that, then what you do, you come to the town and say, I want to be annexed into the town. Then the town's looking at say, okay, how many houses are you going to build? Oh, 150. Okay, we're going to get these tax dollars for this. Sure, come on in. That's how it works. Because the town, we're going to give you sewer and water up to your property line, and then incorporate you into the town. But because we don't offer anything, at this point in time, there again, this is first generation poetry. At this point in time, we have nothing to offer them. And then with Senate bill, just take all the land, Senate bill, 28, 30, whatever it was, with removing your land from the ETJ, that basically threw that out the window. We don't really worry about, because now, just like Bishop Field or Lamar's, Hunts, or anyone else with large tracts of land that want to develop, what is the first thing they're going to do? Petition to be removed from the ETJ. Bye-bye.
But then the town portion, the Hunts have up 5 acres in the town, same with the Jacks. So right now, this says in that 5 acre section, they can only have one house.
Well, and so
No, but
so what if
they could come in and ask for rezoning.
they can ask for
That's-
rezoning, and is that going to be allowed? And that's when we start talking about minimum site sizes and all that. Well, what if they just needed some money, needed some cash? They sold off 4 acres, left their driveway in there. Would they be able to get a variance? Would it be rezoned?
Yeah, they would have to come in and petition
Well, yeah,
to
it'd have to
rezone.
be, since they sold the 4 acres and they kept the 1, it automatically will have to classify as it being rezoned.
And that goes back to minimum property sizes. How small are you going to let them divide it?
And when that's future
Well-
discussion where we're gonna draw the line.
Yeah.
Well, but I guess here gets around to my question is, okay, so you have 5 acres, you can only have one house. And if they want, if we had that 1 acre for everybody, then they could have 5 houses. If the way it is now, they can only have one house.
Per
They can have
two and
one
a
per
half
2.5
acres.
acres, so they could put 2.
Well,
Yeah, per
without
2.5 acres.
without going into zoning, getting a
Well, agrarian,
rezoned.
if they're agrarian, it allows the 1 per 2.5 of the mother tract.
Well, see, that, I guess that comes around to my point is I think that's also confusing and it's taken away their value. And you know, there's something called the Fifth Amendment has a takings clause.
Yeah.
It says you can't take away value. So
Property rights,
if
yeah.
me and everybody
Adverse
else has 1 acre lots and the people across the street can only have 1 or 2 for a 5 acre tract or more, then that's, if they want to do it, we're taking away, the city's taking away their value. And actually they could say, hey, we want to be reimbursed. That's what lawsuits are. We went through this in Sunnyvale for years.
Yeah.
The very same thing is that if the city takes away value, they can sue you and say, based on the Fifth Amendment takings clause. And then in Sunnyvale, they ended up saying, forget it. They couldn't handle the lawsuits after years. And so they settled on basically 1 acre.
1 acre.
Now,
Then they brought in PD.
well, but it's still down to, I'm not sure how much it is now because I've been gone, but when I left, it was basically 1 acre.
No, that's all out the window. They're doing 1/4 acre less.
Okay, well, that's different.
Stony
And
Hollow.
that day will come to poetry, but,
Well,
you know,
but-
for right now,
And I'm not sure how they are now, but Murphy, the town of Murphy, I said, and one of the things I went to in Bastrop, sat next to the guy on the council in Murphy, and he said, he was telling me they wrestled with this and they finally just said, just make it 1 acre, you know, because that's consistent and the courts will go with it. And so everything, and I don't know if it's still that way.
No, it mirrors Plano and Richardson now.
Well,
as far as
okay, it
more
all
so Plano.
changed.
It's all
the,
changed.
the only,
But they did away with the 5 acres and the larger ones. They brought it down to 1, and now you're saying they made it less than 1.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's-
what they've done in Parker, if you want a good example of what a lot of people think poetry should be, go look at Parker. They went in, their minimum lot size is 2 acres, but nearly 90+%, if you come in and ask to subdivide to a minimum of 1 acre, they're going to approve it.
Grand Homes has done First
Well,
Texas, many have
yeah.
done it in Parker.
But I agree. I mean, I agree with you from that standpoint that, you know, if you could fix 20% of what's wrong with this, go to 1 acre. It's that simple.
Well, it goes back
Exactly
to
what you're
minimum
saying.
size period, and same for all the town, same for all districts.
Yeah.
Well, and because a lot of, like, the way that our house is, for instance, we don't have a full 2 acres in the town. And most people aren't going to have that. That's actually in the town.
Yeah.
Right
If-
now, if we did that,
So-
right now, my town is zoned incorrectly. My property is zoned incorrectly because I have less than 2.5 acres in the town.
Right.
If our city map
So-
looked like this, like most city maps do,
Like
and
a
not
square.
the spaghetti, then yeah, it would. A lot of the things that
It would be different, but
much different.
Yeah.
I think you have to kind of go. I'm honestly, you know, there are some people that only have their driveway in the town and not even frontage.
My neighbor at the Hearts on the other side, just their driveway. They're a
Mm-hmm.
flag lot,
So
yet they have 15 acres.
yeah,
Yeah. They don't meet front foot requirements.
Oh, not
They
at
don't side, nothing.
mm-mm.
So those are little things that, you know, we're going to have to tweak and try to fix. You know, but, you know, that's what was so wrong with this map is because of all the green, it made everybody think, wow, that city's pretty big. No, look at the map underneath that. It's a spaghetti, not that.
Mhm.
Well, and that goes
Yeah.
back to
You have
saying
to follow
that
the
if we're gonna,
lines.
if
Yeah.
you're talking about still sticking with 2.5 acres, then yes, people like the Jacks and anyone else with
Well, the
larger
mayor,
frontage, it's going
Mike-
to have to be measured and say, okay,
Mike and Sue Jaffe, they have 5 acres, I'm sure.
it's hard.
in the
I
middle.
guess,
No,
I guess I've never
they
looked at the
really
map
don't.
where it did with the way it dead ends. I don't think it would.
No, that really
They don't
does.
have 5 acres
got
in the
your
town?
I don't think so.
Well, let's
It
look.
sure looks like it
No.
to me when you drive by it.
Sorry, I'm covering up that.
I don't know if I actually,
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know.
What you're talking about,
we're really wide.
you're talking about
You
this
are?
right here.
We are
So
wide.
then you
Well, which property are you talking about on Mike and Sue's?
Mike's property
Mike's
here.
old one or the
This
The
party
one they live
does-
in now,
the one they live in now is the one with the
not Sue's.
not Sue's.
This piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about that piece.
Yeah, see, it's only,
He would because
yeah, he's on it's on his side of the road.
he's got that whole
I thought this was on the other side. Yeah, he does have that.
Yeah.
And then down here, of course, that's narrower. And then down here, of course, you have the standard 311. I can look at that H6. This is something else y'all will need to get if you haven't. It's on the website.
I'm gonna be honest with you, that website wasn't,
Hmm?
it took me a minute to find this.
There is a document.
But it is much better, I will say
Yeah.
that much. It is much better.
Thank you, Laura.
Yes.
Ms. Laura's worked on it.
Yeah.
To this new zoning match, and I got a copy of it, but you have this chart, 3 pages that go with the zoning that will tell you. So that was H6, I think.
Is that on the website?
It's supposed to be.
Okay.
I couldn't find it today.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
could find the maps, but I couldn't find this.
Yeah,
But
because I
get it
clicked
to
on
you.
everything. That's how I
Right,
got the
so
maps. And
H6, which is 2426,
Yes.
the width of the offsets from center line is 222 feet. So if 2426 is a 50-foot right of way, take 25 off of that's 197. He only has 197 feet on that part of his property that's in the town.
Yeah, but there's the road that continues on that doesn't turn at
On
24,
around,
26.
which is
He has that too.
yeah,
right. So H18.
But H18, his front foot on that isn't as big as a.
Well, I
So
mean, we're
H18.
not picking on Mike. It's
Yeah.
just
Well,
that's
the
an
gonna be-
point is
example.
how it's so difficult to even determine.
Well, yeah, it's just another example. Of,
H18
our
is
task
411 feet
So
off the center line.
what did you say the depth was for the HA?
222.
And the net would be
Right now, the best,
When-
when we're talking, just assume a 50-foot right of way. Now, when we get on to 1565 and 986, it changes. But just assume, I think in our discussion as a general census is the right of way is 50 feet,
but 25 for
25 on each
20,
side. So if you take
25.
25 off of 222
Oh,
is 197.
so to get an acre.
I'm pretty old to be able to do that in my head.
that's because you've got plenty of years of doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it's,
He'd have to have 221 feet. Somebody would have to have 221 feet of frontage to be able to have an acre.
we've got to have that at least with ours.
That's quite a bit.
Well, ours is pretty wide, and I mean, our house sits back a half a mile from the road.
but you're talking about for a 1 acre.
Yeah,
1
Correct.
acre
Okay.
or 1 acre.
for just 1 acre.
Now, when you get back, let's see. Some of these, let me find you a big one. So that's 411, 2422, H20, 411. We have a 511, H23, 20, 21, 22, H23. Whose
That's
property-
Corgon Towers,
Whose properties?
isn't it?
So they have 511 feet.
Who's on the south? Who's on the southwest side? She's on the northeast.
Who are we
I mean,
talking about? Who are you talking about?
Yeah. Hmm?
Oh, I didn't know who he's referencing.
So see, people right here, whoever owns that, has 511 feet of the property is in Less the right of way is in the town. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And in a minute, I'll tell you why. And then H8A 511. Just this. Anybody want to guess why?
Because they asked for it
Well, no.
when they were forming the town.
This is what I know is they did that because at the time, just like when we initially did the planning zoning, at the time we thought we had control over the HOA. At the time they formed the town, they thought they actually had to live in the town.
Mhm.
Mm.
So,
That's what incorporate.
Terry and Mike,
and
Terry
I'm not
and
criticizing them. I probably
But
would have
it
done
is-
the same thing if I was trying.
right, because,
But that was why.
yeah, the definition for
Well, hell, I got to
voting,
live in the town. I can't. How can I be mayor
it-
and not live in the
yeah,
town?
that definition didn't occur till a year later.
Later on, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's why. Again, I'm not criticizing. I'm making sure y'all understand when you start looking at these charts. I'll get them
Yeah.
for you because this is the old one, the original one that was recorded,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've got the latest version somewhere in this stack. But anyway, that's the reason why. So when you're looking at these things, always go to this
table.
and take half of the right of way.
Yeah, it's not necessarily 311.
And one of the things, to be honest with you, what we have not done yet is figured out what the width of the right of way. Believe it or not.
Well, because it wouldn't be the same for every road, would it?
That's why most roads are 50, but there are some 2440. Y'all know where that's at?
Mhm.
Back behind Grande Verde off
Yeah.
of 2434, 2440, 2440.
Mm-hmm.
Down at the corner, if you look at, all right, here's Grande Verde. And when you get on this back road, 2452, when you get right here, and all of this area right in here is called Hidden Oaks.
Yeah.
It's a platted subdivision, Hidden Oaks, with deed restriction. This portion, and I went and pulled the plats. There's like 3 phases, 3 different plats. So you got to pull the plats and see. But this little area right here, 60-foot right away. Then in later additions to it, they went back to 50. So you have to be a little careful. But just to show you H22. All right. No.
Bridge 26.
It's H. Point of beginning. Well, that's point of end. Point of beginning. Because calling that a private road. Of course, this is the old one, which is wrong.
So we need a copy of this one
Oh, here it
too.
is.
This map too.
There's only a 250 foot off the center line. So 60, so you're talking 190 feet. These lots right here, right in here on that 60-foot right of way is only 160 feet into the town. Okay, so my point is,
It's inconsistent. It's your point.
my point is, and again, not criticizing in any way. I'll get these for y'all, the most current.
Can we get us a copy of this one? 'Cause I didn't see
map?
this one on the map.
Yeah.
Or online, I didn't see this one.
Yeah, it's not, and I'm gonna talk to them tomorrow or sometime and say, wait a minute, if you've got a zoning map on the website, use the right one. They're using this one. That's no good. They should have that one on the website.
Okay.
We'll get that
Right.
straightened out.
Okay.
And
I
y'all
think that's
need to
because
understand
that's
right
what was
now,
adopted.
we're trying to find bottom.
Yeah.
In fact, you could tell your wife, Laura, that the map on the website, the zoning map on the website is this one.
But that's on there because that's what the council approved and adopted on there.
Not really,
Now,
Haley. We proved,
They came back and amended.
And
And-
then
and
y'all amended
approved.
it?
yeah, this with that table.
This with it. Okay, so
Yeah.
they have to go together.
That was in September, or so 20,
Yeah.
24,
Okay.
24, 25.
Okay.
It was after the zoning had been approved.
Okay.
Okay, if you want it changed, you'll have to give me the file that needs to replace it.
Yeah, I'll call her,
Okay.
but, I'm trying to, I brought a copy. Of course, made a turn and everything went in the floorboard, so.
Oh, that's always wonderful.
So, getting back to the zoning districts.
Okay.
So
do
that,
we want to clean those up and
Mhm.
just go from 4 to 3 and cut out single family estate?
I think so.
I think just have the
And that way
three.
you just have business,
Ag.
SF, I'm sorry, words are hard, and ag.
Yes.
So does everybody
Okay, here it
agree
is.
here about cutting out single family estates?
It doesn't have a use or a point.
Yeah,
It's
just
right now,
adds
as of today.
confusion.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
makes math more difficult.
I'll let
Yeah.
the
But
head.
anyway, I found,
Okay.
this is what you should have. Now, I had the big version because I'm 71 years old, but,
Well, there's 2 pages of the table, one for Hunt, and one for Kaufman.
yeah, the Kaufman is K and the H obviously Hunt. So when you get the sheets, but I'll get those for you for the next meeting.
Okay.
So we get rid of SFE.
Okay.
Are we
You
all?
change-
Is everybody in agreement on that?
Well, let's
I'll let
go
the
back to
chairman-
it and look. Where are we at? So we're back on
Back on the little
Zoning
table.
districts right here.
right here. I got too many versions.
You're good.
Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. What, again, like I said earlier, what you're going to find that we are going to, under 2.5 acres in the town,
hmm
probably 80% of the town is single family.
Mhm.
Understand that.
Mhm.
I think we're going to see very few, there'll be some, like your neighbors, that they have more than 760 feet of frontage. We're going to have several. Well, like Mike he should be okay. He should, because he has road frontage on 2 sides. So he would be, I'm guessing, but probably less than 10% of the property would be ag.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
But by the way, Haley, just
Yes, sir.
if to do that, to just have SF, then the acreage has to be
Well, yes.
1 to less than 5,
Right.
Let
We'll have
1 to less than 5.
right? Because ag is greater than
Okay.
5.
Yeah, we
Well, if
have
ag's
to.
greater than
But
5,
here,
we'll say
but
1,
what I'm
2,
saying
5.
right here is right now
Yeah.
it's saying 2.5. So you're
Right,
saying
it's gotta go
we
to
want
5.
to change
Yeah.
that to
Well,
5.
because
We'll
we
have to
did
change
it.
away with the
5.
2.5 to 5, so it has to go
Okay,
to 5.
but, and that's why I was rummaging paper trying to get caught up, and then I have
And
to
so, okay, so for ag, we're saying that it's more than 5.
greater than
So
5.
then SF will go to 5
5.
and under. Yeah,
To 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Right.
Less than 5.
No, 5.
1,
okay.
1
Here,
to
okay.
5. Right.
Okay, 1 to 5, yeah.
And then we're going to remove SFE.
Yeah, because that's greater than 5.
Correct.
Mhm.
And so SFE estate we're getting rid of.
Mhm.
Okay.
But quite honestly, we're not going to have a lot. You wouldn't have a lot of SFEs to begin with.
Correct.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. It just makes it all.
Yeah, if you
Makes
have
it
less
more
than
simple.
380 feet of frontage, you don't have SFE.
Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people, unless you're like in construction or and stuff like that, that whole estate stuff, like that's very confusing to them. Like they don't, people don't understand what estate means, is, how it works. And, you know, it's kind of like we've all said in the beginning, you know, we're wanting to keep this just simple
Mhm.
and as small country little town as we can
Mhm.
that people can understand. So I'm glad we're taking that out. It's going to be simple for our ag, greater than 5, single family, 1 to 5, and then your business.
So by that definition, then, say you've got 4.9 acres, then, and it's 1, then you could conceivably have 4 houses.
Well, we haven't
Well-
talked about minimum.
Well, you
We,
Yeah,
have,
we
we haven't,
haven't-
got, we
we
haven't got to the minimum
Yeah,
part.
we haven't
we're
got
just,
to the minimum.
We're just basing the.
In theory,
the
that's going to
type.
change
Well,
too.
well,
Which-
that's,
We gotta get some
Which I-
foundation.
okay,
then we'll
well,
Yeah.
build off
well, I'll
that.
say this, this is the
Well-
flack I've been catching about that
Yeah.
option, and y'all will too.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
it's coming.
No.
But we,
I mean,
need-
now it's
we have
directed
to
at me.
work with
You can't
the
have it both ways.
restrictions
Yeah.
that we have.
Yeah,
That's why they pay you the big bucks to be on council.
well, no,
Oh, yeah.
All those volunteer
Yeah, right.
big bucks.
Yeah.
well, but the truth is, and what I've told everyone has said is, I said, look, we're going to have, it's got to go to the council. Then it's going to have a series of meetings where everybody's get a chance to voice their opinions. So it's a long way
Yeah.
from being done.
Yeah, and y'all do understand the process, right? We give it to this council.
They'll
They're
put it
gonna
on the
tweak it.
agenda.
They'll say, okay, this is what we're gonna present to the public. Then the document goes to public meetings, probably at least two, I think, at least two.
Yeah, I mean, because honestly, like the one we had the last time, we only had the one.
That was.
And Lord help us, it went into, well,
Midnight.
yeah, it was
hour.
midnight, because I know at 10:30 Tom had to leave.
Well, yeah, my wife.
And it still went on, I think, for
It's
another
a
at
while.
least 45 minutes. And so there was only the one, and you know, you
Slate.
had people that were,
Well,
it was divided. And I
Right.
really think a second hearing, when
Actually,
they were,
you know, if
it could
if you
have,
look on the website, it lists the series of meetings, not just that last one, but August 10th, August 21st, November 2nd, December 21st, January 18th, and on down to the February 15th, and then the vote on March 21st. And those are listed on the website as the meetings prior to the vote.
But the
But-
problem
but
was,
there
is
was-
that there were other meetings that were not public hearings that made changes to the document within, what was the final date?
And understand this, and I think a
less
lot
than
of
10
people don't
days
understand
before?
it. The document that the first zoning committee submitted to council, and there was a public hearing on it. Okay, that document got thrown in the trash.
mm-hmm.
So that meeting doesn't count as a public meeting for this document.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it was completely changed and there was
Right.
no other,
Oh, let's have a meeting, throw
No
it in the
one got
trash,
to
and now
see-
we have one.
no one
meal,
got
and
to
this-
see the new one until that last,
Yeah, it
that
was less
public
than
hearing.
And then they
weeks
voted on the
before.
same night.
So,
That's-
so I guess that's another definition. It's got to be clear
Mhm.
is what's going to be presented and how many meetings.
Well, that's the council's job, but there won't be one in a vote.
Well, no, I mean,
No.
it's our job to recommend.
Mhm.
The council can make a
They
decision.
can, but it's their decision. That's their
Right.
question, not
Right.
ours.
No, I don't think so. It's
Our-
ours.
our
We can
decision?
come out and say, look, we think, you know, this is, when we finish up in, say, December, we can say, now, here's what we recommend you having, 3 meetings or whatever it is, open meetings to discuss this with the public being able to participate.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we should do that. That's part of our job. in my
Not
opinion.
this committee. We're an advisory. All we
That's
can do
advice.
is advise to the county. And I could.
But that's
Well,
advice.
that's what he's
Advice,
speaking to
Bill.
is
The council's
advising,
gonna have more
and
than
there
one
is going to be
Look-
input from the public
Look,
before
and
that we get
I'll
to that
tell
point.
you the reason I'm saying this
Sure.
is because the flack I'm catching, I'm already telling people, yes, there's going to be a series of meetings. So why not just come out and our recommendation and say, because y'all want to catch the same
Well, we
flack
can
that I
make the
do.
recommendation.
Yeah, we can make the
but it's
recommendation, but it's up to the
ultimately
council.
council's
Of course.
job to
Yeah.
figure that out.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have any decision
that's
making,
fine.
but make it part of our package.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think that
I
was,
have it doesn't bother me any if they have 10 meetings over it or what council chooses to do.
But you're going to hear,
I agree
no,
that there
it's
does
fine.
need to be more than one
But-
public
Yeah.
hearing.
But we didn't
regarding it. I
design the
agree.
town. That's our problem. We're only dealing with roughly 286 feet. I mean, we've got to, I think the idea of going to 1 acre is great.
But
You
we're
know?
not even there yet.
Now,
to
when we
discuss lot
yeah,
size requirements.
after we said 1 acre, you said catching flack about that.
I'm
Was-
sorry?
You said something about catching flack right after we talked about 1 acre. Was there something specific you were talking about that you've gotten feedback on?
Yeah, the first thing people say is I didn't move here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't either.
Well,
but
everybody-
But at the same time,
Everybody
I now
thinks it's
live
2.5
in
acres.
this.
they can think that the
They think it's
requirements are
2.5
2.5
acres,
acres,
really
but
not.
when ultimately that this
Well, no.
document is
Mr. Leahy,
a joke.
I'm sorry?
I sent a question. I'm not supposed to talk. I sent a question.
No, you can,
Oh,
yeah, you're on our
okay.
team.
But because as of right now, this document's a joke because it says that we have control over the ETJ, and we don't.
That's
So,
another thing that's wrong.
you know, so
So-
that's why I was saying about, yeah, it may say 2.5 acres, but somebody can do whatever the heck they want to right now and have no repercussions for
Because
it.
we don't have any enforcement.
Correct. So
Yeah.
even if, honestly, if somebody set up a 1/4 of an acre, this doesn't give much protection as of right now, unless it's inside.
But
Or
a
spaghetti.
developer, just like a developer can come in and buy your ETJ property, take it out of the ETJ, whatever, and still have a piece in the town. They're gonna be just like D.R. Horton. You know what they're gonna put up front?
A big old gate and driveway.
Their detention pond.
Yeah, and their
Detention
retention
pond.
pond. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So-
a sidewalk,
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
And a-
sidewalk.
what
entry element.
jogging trail.
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
about
for green space.
what about
Yes.
less than 1 acre lots that are already pre-existing?
They would have to be
That
grandfathered.
was
You
about to be
can't-
my next.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't change that.
We would
Because-
need, but that brings up a good point. We do need, that's why I was saying earlier,
Mhm.
maybe we have SF1, SF2, FS3, and it's gonna, for the primary purpose of grandfathering those people into the town.
The people that have just their driveway.
Already.
and
Yeah,
their-
But wait a
or
minute,
the less
grand-
than acre.
We have no control over what's grandfathered by law, so it doesn't matter. If it's in there and it's a 1/4 acre, if it's grandfathered,
It's grandfathered.
we don't
Yeah.
have any, and so our current
But we gotta-
regulation
but
can't
down the
affect that.
road, you gotta think in terms of future councils, future enforcement officers. We're gonna have to give them a classification. And the only reason they got that classification is because they're grandfathered in. And we can say in that classification that it's just for grandfather.
Mhm.
That's it.
But
You
what
can't-
classification do
You
you
can't
give
take your
a?
1 acre and split it into 2 half acres. You could say that.
What do you if you have your 0.8 acre
Yeah.
lot? What classification are you?
That's
gonna put it
grandfathered?
at? No, he's saying that we need to have classifications for those.
And we have.
So what classification would you?
Well,
consider
I
for
think
those?
just number system, SF1.
Mhm.
1 being the smallest thing you can do is
But that
anybody
would that still falls under what we're talking
That-
about here. SF, with 1 being the minimum.
well, but we have, I've been told, I haven't seen it yet. I've been told we have properties, well, that Bishop Field. Simeon's property, less than an acre.
No,
It's a
yeah.
driveway.
of what's in the town.
In the town,
Oh, it's in the town?
it's
Sure.
in the town is probably less than a 1/3 acre.
Dang.
Is it acre?
Yeah. Some of his is just driveway.
I think he's got, it's the only thing that's in the town, right here, is his driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only thing that's in
But it's all grandfathered, so it doesn't matter.
Well, it's all grandfathered, but future people that are gonna buy, they're gonna come say, okay, what is that property zone? Grandfather? I mean. 'cause
Well,
the
but it
zoning
won't be
ordinance
zoned
says that they-
grandfather no more once you sell it.
Well,
Right.
Because once you make
Well,
the
once you
change,
alter it, yeah.
but it's
And
once
you
you
no
alter
longer
it. But what
grandfathered.
are they altering it to?
So that's what I'm
Well,
saying, but so they're
when
gonna
we
come to
say
this.
altering, it's not necessarily like, let's say it's less than a third, okay? And Dale owns it and he passes away and then grandkids say, to hell, we don't want this, and we sell it to Tom. The acreage didn't change,
Right.
but your ownership changed.
Right.
Therefore, your grandfather went straight out the door.
Right.
So
And we probably need to rewrite that, incorporate it in this document and get a legal. opinion.
because I'll tell you, in the city of Mesquite, ain't a damn thing grandfathered.
Right.
No,
Now, if you had a business that you opened in the 60s and you're still running that, fine and great.
Mhm.
Right. 'Cause-
When as we make changes, we're not going to make you change that.
As long as you
But
have a
like-
CO.
As long as you got that CO, and nothing's changed on the CO. But the minute you tweak, even if you keep the name
right.
and you change the use, oh, that's
Is there,
so. But for residential, we have nothing.
That is
Grandfathered
considered
in.
still
Right.
grandfathered.
so can we have like SFD, single family driveway?
Right.
I mean,
pretty much.
is there something that can be written into the zoning that the existing driveways are used for nothing but driveways for residential purposes that fall under within the town,
Mhm.
well under the minimum site size?
I think we
Yeah.
have to.
But we can create a zoning,
But I think we also need to
description
figure out
of
how
one,
many properties.
and we can say in that description, once you lose your grandfather, that goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, but then the lot size is still the same. No, the zoning would then stay the same.
The zoning would stay.
Well, then make the
Well-
property unusable.
No, because the zoning is going to be something less than an acre.
Well, it would switch from at the grand. I mean, it would switch from grandfather to single right off.
To require to be compliant with single family, which
Yeah.
is completely impossible.
I think the thing to do is we need to figure out how many properties fall
There's-
into that category.
Right.
And I think that we will. I agree with what Brady suggested
And
of kind of a
that's why we have
SFD.
Scott.
and it's,
I
or
mean,
something.
that was a
or
joke, but yes, there's
you
there's,
have to you do have to have something because once again once they die they lose this they die. Once they change ownership they lose the grandfathering clause.
True. But
So
the
then
land, the physical size of the land didn't change, so they still
Correct.
need a zoning.
yeah.
And I
So-
think if you have any zoning classes less than single family or less than an acre, anything that indicates that the town currently accepts or will accept less than an acre, I think just still opens up the town for when you talk about developers and so well y'all already allow less than an acre.
But,
And
but,
you see what I mean? If the zoning class is there, then
but we could say in that description that only you have this zoning only because you are grandfathered in with less than 1 acre. And
So
and
make that
and it
make
can't
that
grow.
distinction then.
that
clear.
distinction, it can't grow. It's just to give you a classification.
Well, that
It's a
seems like
thought.
a way to deal with it. There may be other ways,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like a way to deal with it.
is it legally enforceable?
True, and that's where again everything, all these ideas like
Well-
this, it's all going to have to pass muster, and then it's got to be ran through the code, and that you haven't seen a problem yet till you see one of these run through the code, the local government code, the state
Mhm.
requirements, because
So-
they do protect those property rights,
So yeah, I mean, we can recommend this,
but
but it could be overridden.
it can be.
But we don't know that.
We don't
Well,
know that
with
yet
most of
because
these-
eventually we're going to run this whole document through legal.
Yeah.
But with most of these, my thing is yeah. So if you do something like, I know you said that as a joke, but SFD, we don't have to call it that, but we'll just reference to that for now. You know, and you mentioned like Simeon's property, it's just a driveway. So what is what would that ever be rezoned for?
In theory, nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
Unless
that's what
somebody
mine
bought-
is.
because you,
Adjacent tracks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And over time we
I mean,
don't,
that's
have
exactly
a
what mine is.
crystal
Just a
ball.
driveway. What's in the
Mhm.
town?
Yeah, yeah. But we have to look at what you're going to find out when you do run it through because of the property rights issue. If you inadvertently hurt a certain class of property owners, it goes right out the window. You'll
Mhm.
lose in court every time.
but
That's
how
proven.
would that hurt him? Is if he had it,
Well,
if
it
him
may or
and
may
others
not,
liked that
but I mean,
property,
in just a driveway, maybe not. But you take someone who
that does have.
build a mother-in-law tiny home.
It needs the width of twice the driveway, maybe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
then
I think that we need to find out how many properties are in the town, and I think it's going to be a lot more than we think
Right.
that are less than 1 acre.
and
Because
what, and
that's we're going to have to look at those as a whole to classify
my
that.
advice to you: every chance you get, take these maps and drive the town. I have spent 100 hours driving the town, and you're going to see things you never thought were in poetry.
Now, let's back up to before we get too far from the comment. Are you referring to deeded, platted properties, the entire property as being an acre, or are you just speaking of
What's in the town?
what's in the town?
What's in because
Yeah,
that's
Just
what
make
we're
that
going
really
by.
clear.
That's all we're
Yeah,
talking
I'm trying to
about.
be clear because that's all we really can talk. That's really all that the zoning ordinance
Yes.
can.
Yeah, I don't know
control.
how much Cindy
So
has.
it's
Have
going to
any
be a
say
lot
over
more
it.
than anybody would think.
Well, once you get on this property, it's 12, 14 acres split between the
Right.
two counties.
Right.
Because I know because Diane Jones owned it before
Yes.
him.
Okay.
I went to that estate sale.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of little quirky properties like that all over town.
Yeah.
And there may be, I mean, people, when we're talking about properties of driveways, the width and the depth, it's the amount of land there is negligible. and that may not even have to be really addressed, but
I think we need to see how many there are, because like taking all this stuff down to when you remove the mother track comment, it really limits as to what we are able to work with.
yeah, and what I'm referring to would be a tract, the main tract, and the majority of that tract. Maybe they have an acre and a half,
Yeah,
but the acre
yeah.
or less is in
Yeah.
is in the town. Is
And
my
I mean,
concern.
some of that with the Kaufman County side going through with their CAD maps, because they did kind of go ahead and break that up and make them their own property ideas. That is somewhat helpful for this, but Hunt County is your larger portion of our town. So that's going to be the tougher one to figure out of who has less than 1 acre that's actually in the town, because
All right, so
we don't have that
decision time.
figured out. Mhm.
What do we want to do? Somebody want to propose something or?
Well, yeah,
Well,
I think I'd pose doing some of what you said, but being very clear about it, that for those that have a strip of land, whether it's a driveway or whatever, that is less than 1 acre in the town, even though they have additional property, that if it's rezoned, and they have some sort of a grandfathered in issue now, if the land's ever sold, well, that part of the land doesn't change.
All right, so we could look at
It's
small lots, less than 1 acre, at the time of incorporation.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think that we need to do some research on those and come back to make a final decision on that. That would be my recommendation. Y'all may be ready
Yeah.
to make a decision, but I would.
Oh, no.
I personally
Well,
would
they,
like
they
to.
exist. The quantity
Yeah,
really doesn't
I
make
know.
much of a difference, I guess.
Well, but I guess
Theory.
I would like to see what is it a majority that we're working with, and I think I need a little bit more time to think about it before I'm able to make a vote on how to verbiage that correctly. That just for me, I need a little bit more time.
So of home sites that we're talking about, how many would we run into some that are half acre?
This is a research thing, so I feel like I can say something.
Yeah, absolutely. Research department.
Somebody who has 120 acres of road footage,
Mhm.
right? That's not a lot.
120 of
120 feet. 120 feet
okay.
of road footage, sorry.
Constitutes an acre, correct?
1 acre.
And if it's 311 feet deep,
Right.
and how many square feet are in an acre?
43,000.
43,560.
43,560. So 120 road footage, 311 feet deep is 0.856 acres. That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people.
And so
Yeah. Gonna be
then
me.
our zoning class.
Hidden Oaks. Go to Hidden Oaks. I
Quite
got
a
the
few.
plat.
Yeah.
Most of Hidden Oaks, our zoning ordinance as it reads, zone them out of everything, cut them out of everything.
Well, I think we have to find a zoning classification for them, but we can still require different minimum lot requirements.
For future development.
Right, for future
Yeah.
development.
Well, yeah, true.
I guess that's my point of view on that.
Well, for future development, yeah, is going to be 1 acre because this classification, again, small lots less than 1 acre at the time of incorporation.
That's your grandfathered people.
That's your grandfather satisfies that, but in no way can said tract be subdivided.
Correct.
Now here's
Some language kind of like that.
here's the other thing though, between incorporation and today,
There's
there
been
are
a lot of different.
people that have sold that land and
Yeah.
other people, there's transactions have occurred, especially Hidden Oaks.
No, you're exactly right
Mm-hmm.
because the town never went out and
Yeah.
did an inventory.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my
Well,
big argument a long time ago.
And pretty much how that would kind of work. So let's say, for example, Haley did that and bought something 2 years ago, exactly like what you're talking about. Because, and let's say we
Here it comes.
get all this done, and let's say we present it at end of December and
Here it
it's
comes.
passed, voted on, sealed, stamped, good, done, January of 2027. then it technically, since the incorporated was years ago, but you've bought property since we were incorporated, and this hot mess wasn't, but we finalized it January of 2027. From that point, January of 2027, anything after that is not going to be grandfathered in. She's going to get to end up being grandfathered in, even though
That's
she
it.
bought that after incorporated, because we didn't have this tweaked
Yeah, that's
until
right.
after. So
It's
it will take full effect after we finalize this of who is grandfathered in from the incorporated time, what was sold between incorporated and January of 2027. They will be end
We
up.
will be
So it's an
backdating
illegal
We
incorporation.
will have to backdate basically
basically,
grandfather.
Illegal,
So basically-
non-conforming.
Legal non-conforming uses.
Correct.
So
what that
basically,
makes.
you're saying
Yes.
grandfathered, you're moving the date from
Well,
incorporation
we would
January.
have to, because we don't have this.
Yeah,
But that's going to be just your far few in between people that sold after incorporation until we get
and
this
we don't know
finalized.
how many that is either.
Well,
But
Well, but the thing is, if it comes out and they're doing something and we're like, oh, hey, wait a minute. Well, then they say, okay, here's
Oh,
our
yeah.
deed. Well, then we'll be able to see who is or isn't BSing, because it's a legal document. We'll be able to see that and say, okay, we understand you bought this after we were incorporated, but
Yeah.
before January 2027, yes, your property is technically grandfathered
So set
at
a new
this point.
grandfather, a clear grandfather date up on the passage of
Yes.
the new.
So,
Yes, and that would be, we would write that in somewhere on the
so
document.
yeah, that's a good point. We could get
But
that.
that's how
why
you
these
fix
cases
it.
that we've been doing, we've been trying to draw a hard line in the sand, which I've always argued, no, we're dealing with grandfather property, grandfather cases. We need to make the best decision for the town and the citizens.
Yes.
But to draw that line and just cut them out is wrong, I think,
Yeah.
at this generation.
Well, yeah, because we've
Yeah,
got
3 or
things we
4 or
knew we
5
need to
councils
fix.
from now, this won't even be an issue.
Oh, yeah. It'll be,
But right now, with this council, first generation grandfather, that's where all the problems are. So, all right, so what do we want to call this group, this classification?
Oh.
Tiny home?
No,
No.
not necessarily.
I don't want
Then you'll
tiny,
get us all in
nothing.
trouble.
I'll pick it. It's a joke.
Scott, did you have a research thing over there you wanted to, you look like you had a research
It
comment.
was a question, really. I mean, if we're gonna say, if we're gonna draw the line and say January 1st, 2027, using your example.
Yeah.
Well, what if another revision to the P and Z ordinance happens and it takes effect January 1st, 2029? Is that now
No.
the new line?
That
No.
can happen.
It's up to the council.
In theory, I guess it could.
Well, first, I don't
mean-
think you can set January of 27 because the council wouldn't have
But
voted.
that, just as an example,
But you have to
anytime a revision comes to the document, does that reset the grandfathering clause?
What do you
Well-
mean addition?
It-
I mean, this is a living document, right?
But it can-
It would be like an
Every time,
amendment,
every
so
year.
normally, no. Normally when there are amendments done to a,
But I guess
normally, no.
Okay.
My-
I
my sug-
understand.
my suggestion, just call it grandfathered property.
No, but they can always take it to the Board of Adjustments.
And that's-
get a one-time approval or something like that.
Variance.
Yeah, but
Well-
basically,
'Cause
we're
they
talking
might.
about shifting the grandfathered. And so my feeling is,
But I think we need a classification as a catch-all for that.
well, you're the real estate guy.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. We need some kind of a catch-all because again, we don't want to inadvertently hurt these people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we got plenty of land. We can do whatever the hell we
Well-
want to,
Yeah.
but we just screwed you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want it to be
Just
like
as-
that.
20% of the population.
We are working with the design of a town that really we offer no services as a town.
Right.
And really all this does is put restrictions on
Wow.
people that have smaller properties. So really it is discriminatory in that factor
Well, there's even-
against people with
Right.
smaller lot
Right.
sizes.
Well, there's
Yeah,
even
and
worse
then
than
when we
that.
get deeper
Less
into this,
affluent
If you
gets
go
screwed.
Hidden Oaks, for example, is a lot
Yes.
Hispanic. It could come back and say this is a racial issue. You know,
So
we don't want to
it's
get
One
into
we
that.
turned down.
We don't want to get into
What was
that.
his name?
It's opening up
The
Yeah.
one
the
deal we turned
floodgates.
down.
And question that I have is this is all under litigation right now as well.
Correct.
And as last I know and was updated was that this has gone back to the Court of Appeals and waiting judgment on
Mhm.
this. So
Then we'll
what
go
if
back to
they-
the-
What if they come back with? What if the
What,
they come back and say this
We're
whole thing?
working
well,
is-
with
it's
our
even
blinders
broader
on.
than that. If the Court of Appeals sends it back to trial,
Mhm.
then it's this plus a lot of other issues
Yeah.
that have to be
Yeah.
tried.
But understand,
So-
this committee, we need to put our blinders on. We can't deal with that. That's not in our, I mean, and we may work
This may
6 months for nothing,
Well,
but
But
Well,
in the meantime, I get what you're saying.
mean,
In the
but I'm
meantime,
still-
we
we
have
need,
to fix this in the meantime because we have real issues with real people here
Mhm.
today
yeah.
right.
with their properties.
And that's our
Well, the
job.
town is
What
still
happened
living
in
and
court and is gonna happen.
but it's much bigger than just this.
Yeah,
If it's
Right.
thrown back to trial, because it was never tried, it was only ruled on procedural matters.
Mhm.
So if it's, they're wanting to bring it back to trial, and this and other issues could be part of trial if the other side wins.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, it'll open up a big can.
Mhm.
big can. So for now, what do we want to call this classification?
Mm.
I have no idea.
Well, you could do it like you said, SF1, SF2.
Yeah.
That's a simple way.
You want to do it that way?
And
All in favor?
well, and hold on before we.
Okay.
My question was going to be, if we're doing FS1, FS2, are we going to start with? Are we going to change FS to FS2, and then your smaller lot sizes go to FS1
Mhm.
to
Could
have
do
it in
that.
numerical order? Sorry. to
Yeah, you
make
could do
things
that. That
organized,
that
but
makes sense to leave your 1 to 5 acres, your
that
SF1.
way it's kind of categorized.
Yeah, and
by
then
your
your
acreage.
Make it SF2, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just reverse it, I don't care.
Yeah. That,
We,
sorry,
we
that
just
was,
need to make a
that was a
distinction.
nitpicky thing.
No, so.
It needs to go the other way.
Less than.
SF less than
Less
1
than
acre,
one,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna have SF1 now, and this new category is gonna be SF2.
I was gonna swap that.
It's usually the
Yeah.
opposite. The
I was gonna
larger.
yeah, the larger.
That's why,
So
that,
do
so
this SF2 and
That's
then
what
the
I-
new
yeah,
one
to
SF1.
go back to one.
That's
yeah.
Yeah,
fine.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's
but
good.
it
I,
just-
I agree with you. I'd rather see that one,
Okay.
not two.
Which is
Okay.
Which is which? The less than 1 acre lots are SF,
SF1,
and 1 to 5 is SF.
2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we need a good description of SF1.
Mhm.
Anybody want to take that on their task over the next month?
Well, I think we could all reconvene and.
Well, draft something and then
Yeah.
we discuss the
Well,
draft.
And by the way, I alerted Dale, I might not be at the next meeting the first week in April. I didn't, when we agreed to do this the other day, I didn't realize I'd kind of tentatively made a commitment to be out of town that day, that
Oh, well,
Thursday.
don't
Yeah.
feel bad, honey. It's my anniversary. I have a doctor's appointment that morning at 7:30 downtown. Anniversary, and I have a meeting that night now. So I got you on your.
So you're
oh
in the-
yeah, we'll just do
Yeah.
the first
Hey, guys,
Thursdays.
We can move it around. The only
Yeah.
reason why we're trying to tie it to the first Thursday is just so it becomes common knowledge to
Yeah.
do that. And talking to Tom about that, quite honestly, next month, we could just talk, discuss, and not make any decisions. And then the next meeting, we say, okay, this is what we talked about. Let's,
But Robin is even more on the fence than me, so.
No, my husband. I already told him.
but again, because we don't have all of
And if
the,
there's something that y'all wanted, if you can't be here for, just send it in to one of us, or if you want it even discussed,
but again,
or we can put it on hold until next
we
week.
don't have to adhere to any of the rules necessarily. We're not as stringent as the quorum
Well-
thing and all of that. We can still have a meeting and make it a pure, okay, this is what I found out. This is, just discussing, move.
Okay, well, my question was, could we move it up to Wednesday instead of Thursday? The one next in April?
That's fine with me.
To have it on the 1st instead of the 2nd.
Yes,
I could
because
do
I'll
that.
be here the 1st.
Okay.
It's just-
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not getting any
That's
over.
fine.
I'm not getting
That's
any
fine with me.
overtime that week, so it don't matter. I can move it to Wednesday.
So we're going to move the
Let's
next
do that.
meeting
Okay.
to April 1st,
That's
April,
Wednesday.
April Fools.
April
Uh-huh.
Fool.
No joke.
Yeah.
So April 1st from 6 to 8. And we'll need to get Laura to post that. But I'm not opposed to just
Yeah.
keep them the same and y'all not be here. That's okay. This is a advisory committee and we can there's
Discuss
plenty-
things
There's
opposed to.
plenty here to talk about.
Well, and I have to tell you, there's a kid from Forney that I know that's a pitcher at A&M. He's really good,
Mm.
and he may be pitching that Thursday.
Ah.
And if I'm going down there anyway for the weekend, so if I'm going to go there, I want to see him
Say,
pitch.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's basically
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not as emotional as yours, but it's still something I like to do.
Okay.
Well, she sounds less emotional about than you.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so
I have a
SF1.
very busy life, so I just learned to like finagle.
I know.
Just squeeze it
Everything.
all in.
Okay, who wants to take a stab at writing that definition for SF1?
I can. I mean, I think we maybe a couple of us should. There should be
Yeah.
a couple of versions.
Well-
and with the zoning that I've read through, I've never really, Louisville has a lot of obsolete versions.
Well,
as
I
you go
think
through.
maybe just somebody write something up, the reasonable intent, check your grammar and, all of that type of stuff, and then just bring it to us, and that's what we'll discuss instead of discussing my.
Well, and I agree with Dale on this point. It's better to have something in writing that
Yes.
we're all looking at as
Yes.
opposed to a concept. And so,
And this is not a big issue.
I mean, Brady, if you want to write it, that's fine. I don't mind writing it either. Just something to put in front of everybody. So we're all
And like,
critiquing
like
something.
you said, you can. I mean, if we all, not all of us have to, but if you did something, then I brought something, then we can compare, and we may end
I
up
think
just
a couple-
taking the two
Combine
and
it.
Couple
merging
different
them.
there's nothing wrong with having 4 written
Guys?
versions to look at.
You know what you do? I'm telling you.
I'm already going to
this is a
Parker.
71-year-old man. Write it up,
Parker
run
County.
it through AI. And
Oh
it's-
yeah. Oh, don't worry. My God, work is.
Come on.
Listen.
I'm serious.
So what's crazy about
It's the
that?
best thing since sliced bread.
So what's crazy? Our plans examiner, he's just amazing technology, and he does so many plans reviews every day. And like some of the things, like when you're looking at, you're like, is it? So he has literally filled our whole city ordinance into. He's made folders. But he's got this whole folder that has nothing but our ordinance in it. And he goes in and he'll make the project with whatever the name is, pull all the stuff they sent, shuffle it all in there, and it does it all and just makes it
Unbelievable.
amazing. So now they've done that with mine. Now I had to get an AI account, and they do it with our sign ordinance.
Well, I was going to
And
surprise
so-
y'all next month. You're going to see this ordinance in AI next month.
Oh, it's
That's fine. We can compare whatever.
It's in fact, I think it got done today.
It's really cool when
It
it
is
does
cool.
that. You'll be
I mean-
amazed, like what it turns and makes it easy, and then it'll say, "Hey, do you want this? Do you want this section like simpler so it's more understandable for people?" And when you click that, then it just dumps it down, and it's like makes it so easy.
And
to
you'll type
understand.
up 500 words. It'll whittle it down, and it'll come back the best thing you've ever read, and it's 220 words.
where you understand it.
Where you understand it. There's no fuzz
I was
at all.
so against doing that, but then when he showed me how easy it was
Oh,
to
God.
do like my sign ordinance stuff for all my violations that I do,
Mhm.
I was like, so each day I'm learning like new stuff that I couldn't even imagine.
Do y'all have Copilot? Y'all use Microsoft Word?
I'm a Mac.
If you have Copilot, if you have Microsoft Word, you know that you got this new thing up there, Copilot. That's all that is.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
There's also
I'll have
one,
Jeremiah show it to
there's
me.
also
Mom.
one called Chat.
We use Chat GBT.
Okay,
That's the account we have that's
daughter's
paid.
an attorney in Austin, and she wrote a grant, ran it through AI, and got $1 million.
So he's also, you can make it personalized. Like his AI account is personally like his style, his verbiage, all that. He spent an hour one day, like when he first started this, and telling them all about his job and like what he does and all that. So now when it formats his stuff, it doesn't sound like a robot writing it. It's like just
Yeah,
his lingo,
Pretty
and it makes
amazing.
it so easy to do.
yeah. And again, I'm 71 years old, and I love it.
Okay.
They needed that for you years ago with all your construction stuff.
Huh?
You needed that years ago with all
I
your
wish.
construction stuff.
Now, and understand, I mean, I've got a degree in all of that, but I'm dyslexic. And
I am too, so it makes,
yeah, and my wife is she is a city structure guru, and so that's what I always did. I'd write something at work and I'd bring it home to her, and she'd fix it for
but
me.
now it's nice, you got it, you have it where you just can
Just
talk
boom.
into a mic and it doesn't matter if you spelt
And-
it
and
right
you
or
don't have-
formatted right, it just,
And occasionally you'll get something where they kind of misunderstand a word that may have different definitions in different areas, and they'll get it wrong. So you do have to kind of watch it a little bit.
but for
And
the most part, it's pretty
Most,
spot on.
80,
I can't wait to see this in
90% of
AI.
the time, I use what they wrote.
So
Rarely.
So who wants to write the definition for SF1? Brady, you want to?
I'll
Give it a
I'll
shot.
pull one too. I mean, I still think we need to have like more than one.
And then I think we all need to take a look at the descriptions.
Yeah, and-
Yeah, and that's
each of
gonna have to,
them
Yeah, so you're
Big
going to
tweak.
to
write.
go over next.
Yeah, so you're going to write the grid,
Mhm.
and you're going to write the definition.
Now, and ultimately, that's whatever it is, it's got to be incorporated into the red line version of
Right.
Correct.
that we're doing
Correct.
at some point, whether it's in definitions or
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
everywhere where
next-
AR is, all that's gonna have to be through the whole document
it's gonna
changed to ag.
Right.
And then we will, putting it for our next meeting for us to discuss the descriptions.
Yeah.
If that's
Okay.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We're
And if there's anything else that somebody wants to add to put on, just to put in our minds to look at for next time we meet. I
well. Let's
don't know.
finish business. But we're
Oh, yeah,
we got 30 minutes. All right. Business, light retail and neighborhood services.
I want to rewrite that whole thing,
You what?
the whole section.
What about it?
I said that whole section needs to be
Well,
redone.
That'll come.
Yeah.
Because it
Too
Just-
vague.
Yeah.
Either more classifications or a bigger, better definition.
And I think that there are some properties that are zoned business, or I know there's one property in particular that's zoned business that I don't think should be zoned business. But we can get to that. We'll
Yeah.
tackle that.
Yeah, when we
at a later
start
date.
drilling into the properties.
Do we allow industrial?
Sorry.
Do we allow industrial as a town?
Right
And-
now, no. I guess through SUP.
Because this always, I mean, business is always, it refers to like retail services, services
Right.
related.
And generally
And
we
then-
could say, business retail, business industrial, business office, all of that. I'm not sure if poetry's ready for that, or that we have to go to that much detail now, maybe some council down the road. But
And
I do think we need a broader definition.
the
of
usage
business.
of neighborhood services, and there is no definition for what that entails,
so we need a definition for neighborhood services.
or remove the word.
Or just put it in just put the definition down here.
Right, one of the two, but
Yeah.
there is no definition even in the back
there, right.
of
For,
neighborhood
okay.
services.
I agree with that.
And because what are we defining as a neighborhood service?
Exactly.
I thought there was something in here about it. Is there not?
Handy, are you talking about under 10.2?
Well, I was looking at under 2.2, and then also
Oh.
under in 10.1. It is,
Let's look
and then
at
I also looked under the section, what is it, 15, that the definitions are under? Yes.
Yeah.
And under section 15, neighborhood services is not defined, because here it says in the zoning district in section 2, in 2.2, it says business, light retail, and neighborhood services in the chart. And then down here it says
Oh, I see.
business, light retail, neighborhood services. This district is intended for
it's-
neighborhood shopping facilities.
What's light retail?
No.
Yeah.
Well, there is an
And
industrial here.
retail and or commercial facilities of a service character, uses developed under the standard of the B district are designed to provide a compatible relationship between the non-residential use and development and adjacent residential areas. So I just said a whole mumbo jumbo that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It doesn't.
It's
This was
very-
pulled straight out of somebody else's.
Complicated. Yeah. It doesn't really
It
suit
doesn't flow.
our town. needless to say.
So you want to condense it all the way back? Or?
Well, either we need to, I think that we should either remove using the word neighborhood services, or we have to figure out a way to define it, because what is a neighborhood
Well,
service?
it should be light retail,
right,
office,
right.
yeah,
hmm
and just take out neighborhood services.
And define light retail as anything under 2,500 square
Yeah,
feet
it
or
has
something.
that in there already. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
2,500, but
So
neighborhood.
yeah, I think I agree. I think strike the word neighborhood services and add office.
And then I think the definition needs to be cleaned up. The description, my bad, of business district, it just needs to be cleaned up to make it.
But look at 8.2.2.
8.2.2. Parks, playgrounds, community buildings, library. Oh, I know, and that's on.
So we have a single family zoning,
I have
and you
had
can
a-
put all of that in single
I have
family
had an
zoning.
issue
It's
with
not every one
that,
of
and
them.
I
yeah.
said
And
that.
that's- I
at
told you
the-
that was just boilerplate.
I pointed that out at the
Repeated.
initial
Yeah.
hearing because I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Why?
Plus, so that went back to the whole thing of D.O. Horton buys a parcel of land
Yeah.
that is zoned, and they say, well,
Put in a park.
it's zoned.
Put in a playground.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're putting in a playground. So it's almost just allowing them to come in.
we're gonna meet the zoning because
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
put
meet
in.
the zoning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see that's going to take a lot of work. So do you want to take business district and do a rewrite?
Sure, I will rewrite as best as I
Now,
can. But yes, I
what
will.
is the opinion of having multiple business zoning classifications? We need retail, light retail with definition, office.
Would it be confusing to have too many, or is it confusing to have too many descriptions underneath
Well, and
one
know,
Well, we'd
classification?
have business one, or business or R for retail, two,
I would
O
do
for
bus-
office, or, you know what I mean?
I'd
I mean,
keep
I
the
don't care what
B.
it is.
I would if we're gonna have classifications. I would keep it with B and do
BR,
numbers
BI, BO.
or something. I would keep the B in
B1,
front
2,
because
3.
B is for business. It
Mhm.
may be different types of business, but you
Okay.
keep the B because that's going to be simple for people to
So
understand.
B 1, 2, 3.
and we
That's
can,
fine.
yeah.
Okay.
And
so-
I'll come back next
Okay.
in a few weeks with an actual proposal on.
So
how to
everybody agrees, go with B 1, 2, 3, whatever,
Multiple, try it.
for now? I
For
find
now.
that each one would be a
Yeah.
little different.
Yeah, and then after we see it, we can see if we want to
Yeah.
Yeah.
change it. But
Yeah.
for
And
now,
I,
yeah.
and I may make it too simple. I don't, and y'all can.
I
make
mean, we could
your-
have a B1 that is schools, churches, and cemeteries.
Mhm.
I mean,
Public services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what you're going to write.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing that is a big stickler.
Oh, I know where it's going. For you?
Yeah, we have probably 10 subdivisions in poetry, believe it or not. Okay? Each subdivision, in various degrees, have deed restrictions.
hmm
So if we're grandfathering people in, did we not grandfather those deed restrictions? This is a thought. You got a month to think about this and research it. Because what we have is with and I view a subdivision with deed restrictions is the reason why they came out in the country and did that was we're going to create control over this subdivision because people that came out to the country and wanted to buy relatively small acres, like myself, 10 acres, why did I want to move into a subdivision in the country? Because that way I'm never going to get a mobile home, welding shop next door to me. And we see that all over town.
Mhm.
House, mobile home, a shop. So the problem you have, deed restrictions run with title.
The life of the land.
Mhm.
Then we've overlaid zoning on top of them. Which one
The mo-
prevails?
The most restrictive,
Mhm.
but deed
Mhm.
restrictions always come first.
Mhm.
But there's also an opinion, and I'll try to break it next month, is that in the state, property rights, the underlayer has, and from the state's thinking, has greater control over zoning. So what most towns do, this is your late night, can't go to sleep thought. Is how we're going to solve. What a lot of towns do is they do a PD zoning, and we've already ran to it and made some mistakes. And so if you took each subdivision and numbered them as PD 100, 102, 103, blah, blah, blah. What you do, and not that we necessarily have to marry the two together, but if we give these subdivisions a PD zoning, the future generation cities folks or council or enforcement people, as you know, when someone comes in and the secretary's here and says, well, let's check your zoning, and it says PD 101, what that's going to do to the staff is, okay, you got something here more than zoning.
Mm-hmm. They're going
And-
to know right off the bat it has something to do with the deed restriction.
Huh?
They're going to know right off the bat it has property deed
90% of the
restriction.
time, that's the reason why it's PD. If you drive in on 276 and all, you see all those yellow signs in Rockwell, ag to PD or PUD, that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
All of those signs you see where they're asking for a zoning change. So, and I'm not saying that this is the generation where we need to try to marry them, but I think at a minimum, what we need to be able to do is that when the people walk in the door and ask, they immediately, and they get that, the staff gets that PD zoning, they say, okay, you got something more here. You've got deed restrictions. Does your subdivision have a architect control or an HOA? And most out here, most of them, I doubt we'll find one HOA out here, to be honest with you.
Well, that's another reason why you came and bought in a subdivision in the country, because there is no HOA.
No HOA.
There's no
one.
HOA, but then,
Right.
so how do you circumvent, or if you have a problem with a neighbor that is violating deed restrictions, how do you take care of it right now?
That's going to.
Or before zoning,
Mm-hmm.
through the courts.
Right.
You hire a lawyer. So then what you're asking or what you're saying is that the city more or less would adopt those deed restrictions and they would have to fight the fight of the homeowners
No.
for each deed restriction.
No, I think this generation, because there's a lot of opposition to this, but this generation, I think we need to say you have both. A classic example, well, right down the road from y'all, both of y'all. When you make the curve, that house sitting way back off the road,
Behind the pond?
No,
it's kind of
the left.
it was for sale. It's for sale. All right.
Oh,
It's on the left.
All right. So here's what happened. An estate passed away, 2 kids. Well, I'd rather have the land. Well, I'd rather have the house. They split the property. Okay? Well, no, what it is, the original owner bought 2 lots. Right, so we'd have 5 acres. Built the house in the best spot, away from all the trees and all, blah, blah, blah. Now they got to split it. Well, I'll take this lot, you take that lot. Well, wait a minute. The lot line fell just literally touching the porch because they put it in the center of their 2 lots. And so what happened was we found that out and said, okay, our minimum side setback for the town zoning is 5 feet. That's all we care about. But do we not owe these people a little better explanation than that? But your deed restrictions require a 20-foot setback. So our advice to you is to take the more restricted rule of the 2 and subdivide, move that lot. Now, what do they have to do? They had to replat 2 lots.
Replat.
Okay, because they were platted lots. So they had to replat and just take that axis and move it and they got their 20 feet to meet the requirements of the subdivision. And we don't care because all we require is 5, and if you're 20, you're good. That's the kind of things that we're running into, and we're running into them in several places. So if we just gave all of the subdivisions a PD number in this generation, that would just at least tell council and staff that you got an overlay. And sit down, look at all of it, talk to your property owners association if there is one. Like in Grand Verde, we just have an architectural control committee. Go to them, and then what you can say is, like in Grand Verde, what we would say is, okay, go do a site plan of what you're going to do. Where's the house? Where's the setback? Give us all of that. Go get it approved by the HOA or the architect control of Grand Verde. Have them write a letter approving it. Then come to us, and then we're going to look at that. So, because what we're going to get into is we're going to make some stupid decision without looking at those deed restrictions, and we got another lawsuit. And you've seen it. So that's all I'm saying, is that we need to have a PD zoning, if for no other reason, to let everybody know that you got a weird situation.
And better be watching out.
And you better, because we're exposed as we speak, people. We've already made that mistake. Just my thought. Think about it. Let's talk about it next month.
On
On the
Wednesday.
1st.
Okay? See how
On Wednesday.
Wednesday the 1st.
See how this thing just kind of mushrooms on you?
Oh, hey, I know.
But I feel like we've made
Yeah,
some progress.
This is
most
the way to do it.
definitely.
No, this is
Mr. Leahy, you have
this is great.
Can I
Observation.
summarize
Yes, sir.
here? Can I
Yes.
summarize here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it looks like we need to remove the mother track language. We need to change everywhere it says a very.
Whoop, I'm sorry. We're not removing. We're going to
Red
color
line,
code.
Red line, right, yeah, I will,
Okay.
strike through,
I did-
it'll
yeah.
still be in there.
Yeah.
Agrarian equals ag now, strike out the net and gross language about acreage.
Mhm.
Take or strike the SFE, and then we're gonna add a category SF1 and SF2. I mean, those have to be defined, but we can do a placeholder in there.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna redline neighborhood services and get that out.
Yeah.
And then one more,
Yeah.
and that's the SF is 1 to 5 now acres, not 1 to 2.5.
Right, yeah, 1 to 5, and then ag is greater than 5.
Correct.
And also, since you're doing that, would you mind highlighting and put it in yellow or something? Every time it says ETJ,
Right.
because that's one that we're going to have to yes, no, yes, no.
Well, and Dale, I was gonna ask you, can you send me a Word document?
You have it in the office. Your wife has it.
She has it, okay.
If they don't have it, I got it.
They do.
Okay.
They have the Word
Yeah,
document.
'cause
It
they
might be
sent
Ter-
it-
It might be Teresa, but
Yeah, we think you found it, right?
actually, Jonathan found it.
Oh, did she?
It's the only one we had, and Jonathan had it.
But Laura has it?
Well, it's either Laura, I'm
Or
not sure if it's
Teresa.
Laura or Teresa.
Okay, well, I can get it.
If not, let me know. I got it.
And then.
I'd rather you get it from them than get it from me.
That's
Yeah,
perfectly
definitely.
fine, as long as I can get it. I
Yeah.
can't do any redlining if I don't
Yeah.
have a Word document.
Yeah,
And then
that's why I
the
got
next
it.
meeting is Wednesday, April the 1st, and then Dale, you wanted the zoning map on the website replaced, but I'm gonna need, or Laura's gonna need what you gotta replace it with.
Yeah, and that's just something, I'll call Laura and she
Okay.
can talk to Mike and we
I'm
can,
not gonna worry, I'm taking that off my
yeah,
list.
take that off your list. I'll do that one.
Okay.
All right? Guys, this has been fun, huh?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, I mean, guys, I appreciate the knowledge we have at this table. When you were on that first committee, that was the grueling part and well intended, but had no experience. And we had 8 people on the committee. Can you imagine if we had 8 people on the committee?
Oh, it was like some nights. It was like we maybe got one sentence done
Yeah.
because
I
well,
remember
it's
one
just
2 hour
because-
meeting, we talked about billboards. Billboards for 2 hours.
Well, and it is easier to edit than it is to create.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's true too.
Yes.
Very true.
We have some experience. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and I'm gonna have y'all a big package. And now let me ask you this, if I get this package put together in a week or so, 2 or 3 weeks before the April 1st meeting, do you want, I'll probably have somebody in staff do it. Y'all want to, or would y'all have the ability to come by town hall and pick it up?
Yeah.
Seven?
What package are you talking about?
This is gonna be all of
Well, I
all
could
of
pick it up
the
for you or something. if you
independent
wanted to just grab it.
comments on the zoning ordinance. This is just a read package. Your comments, my comments, Tracy's.
The good thing is this. Huh?
Just email it.
Oh, well,
Get it.
that,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if anything, if it's just
It's-
a big.
It's
okay.
gonna be big.
Okay, well, if
and-
anything, if we're still having the meetings at the beginning of the month, then if there's whatever you put together, material you want us to read, we could always pick it up at council
Yeah.
meeting 2 weeks later.
Right.
I
right.
mean, 'cause-
Yeah. So I could have it ready for next week
Okay.
because we have a meeting Wednesday and Thursday
Mhm.
next week.
I'll make the Thursday meeting.
2 meetings. I don't know why, I saw the first one, but I didn't even see what it was about. It's
The Wednesday meeting?
that's a public
Yeah,
hearing
it's a
meeting.
public
Well,
hearing.
Okay.
Is it Wednesday that's the public or Thursday?
I would think Wednesday.
Wednesday is the public, and then because
Thursday
Thursday
is
is the
council.
same council meeting.
I was like the opposite.
So I'll have them ready by next Thursday here. And again, if you can't, I mean, and you know what we need to do? We need to get everybody's emails and
On the website, though, it currently says that Wednesday is a meeting and Thursday is a public hearing and
a meeting.
regular meeting.
Okay.
So,
So let's figure Thursday. I don't know
Yeah.
what that meeting is all about. But if y'all have my number, if everybody would send me your email and phone numbers, and so we can get a list out so everybody will be able to put it on their phone just in case. Because it's okay for y'all to talk between yourselves, in that
But, we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Can't talk to other council.
council.
Does that be considered
A quorum.
extending the
Right.
quorum?
Okay.
So we can't talk to other council.
Yeah, but if you have something for the council, talk to one of us and we'll present it to the council.
Yeah.
You're just saying, like, if we're two of us are somewhere and there's another council person, we can't talk about what we talk
Right.
about.
Because that
here.
could be considered extending
a
the quorum.
rolling.
It's called a rolling.
Rolling
a
quorum.
rolling
Or if you went, I'm not sure about this. Let me call Tracy and get her opinion. Let me call Terry, get his opinion. Whoa, stop right there.
Yeah.
That's called a rolling
Yeah.
quorum. And you can't do that.
Okay.
Fair?
Yeah.
Guys, it's been great. This is fun.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for our first meeting, I think we got a lot of little things.
Mhm.
I mean, like,
Yeah. We're on the
like,
right track.
I think if we keep making progress like that each one, it's gonna end up being really good. Maybe not
Yeah.
until December.
Well, hopefully before December, but you have to have a cutoff date.
I know.
Well, I had
We'll get
just
there.
said